Here is a short blast from the past for our valued NetWise Life viewers. A selection of 3 HP and Palm webOS devices. As you may or may not recall, Palm Computing, founded in 1992, was the first PDA, Personal Digital Assistant, manufacturer to popularize the concept, taking the PDA from a relatively unknown niche product to a solution coveted by many busy professionals. The Palm Pilot became a well-known name among technology-savvy business people. Being able to take notes, contact lists, and appointment calendars with you, along with electronic books, as well as the ability to record receipts through primitive apps, allowed users to dramatically increase their productivity in the days before the advent of modern smartphones, such as Windows phones, Apple iPhones, and Android phones. Through a series of steps and missteps, spin-offs of the Palm OS, repurchases of the Palm OS, the departure and return of the founders through the Handspring Company, and an eventual acquisition by HP in 2010, Palm became an advanced but marginalized provider of smartphones and tablets, running a somewhat ahead of its time OS known as webOS. What we see here are a selection of 3 HP and Palm webOS devices. The Palm Pre 2 smartphone, the HP TouchPad tablet, and the Palm HP Pre 3, which is the final smartphone released by HP and thus Palm. By sharing the webOS system as their primary platform, all 3 devices retained the same set of characteristics, including the following disadvantages: a substantial lack of supported, popular applications such as Instagram, 1Password, CNN Mobile, Skype, and many others, including most popular games. Performance that could sometimes be spotty, although with later releases of webOS, performance was measurably improved. On the other hand, webOS contained several unique features which were later adopted by competing smartphone and tablet OS manufacturers, including wireless charging for all devices, starting in 2009, using an inductive charging technology. This capability is expressed in the Pre line of phones with a magnetically aligned charging base that served to keep the phone seated on the base securely while charging. This is partially replicated today through the Duracell PMA and Qi wireless charging standards, which, although providing wireless charging, do not provide a method to magnetically secure the device to the charging base. The touchpad uses the same inductive charging in a stand without the magnetic securing capability.
Card-based multitasking and task management, again introduced in 2009. This basically allows for multiple apps to be running at one time, displaying multiple windows for each app as needed, and allowing for users to close apps easily by swiping. Only partially replicated by Android, iOS, and Windows Phone starting in 2013 with swipe to close only. As of today, the ability to show multiple windows for each app as needed is not available in Android, iOS, or Windows Phone. Touch to Share technology, released in 2011 with the Pre 3 and TouchPad. Primarily used as a convenient gimmick, Touch to Share allowed for users to tap one device to another to share content, such as a web page URL that was being viewed on one device to the other. Synergy, introduced with the original webOS in 2009, provides a mechanism to combine your various accounts for email, calendar, Facebook, Twitter, and more into one combined feed. This is similar to what Microsoft created for Windows Phone 7.5 and 8.0, although several years later de-emphasized by Microsoft.
First on the agenda is the Palm Pre 2, released in October 2010 in Europe and 1 month later in November in the United States. As the successor to the Palm Pre original, it provided a more advanced flat Gorilla Glass screen in place of the curved plastic of the original Palm Pre, a faster processor, and an upgraded camera. In addition, although minimal by 2014 standards, The 16 gigabytes of flash storage provided substantial space for music, movies, and more in 2010, especially when considering the fact that, when optimized, webOS apps were smaller, and continue to be smaller, than most iOS and Android equivalents. With a removable battery and a physical keyboard, the Palm Pre 2 was especially appealing to road warriors who had previously been enamored of BlackBerry devices. The Palm Pre 2 was the last smartphone to be branded with the Palm name, with the few yet to be released subsequent devices being given the HP branding treatment. Second on the agenda is the HP TouchPad. Released in July 2011 in the United States, the HP TouchPad lasted about a month on the market until the entire webOS hardware line was discontinued by the new CEO of HP, Meg Whitman. Released in a 32GB version in the US, the particular unit that we see here is a 64GB white version. This version has a slightly faster 1.5 GHz processor. This particular version is rare in the United States, as it was only released in a small production run that was quickly discontinued. About the same size as contemporary Apple iPads, the HP TouchPad was heavier, weighing in at about 1.6 pounds. With a battery that pushes over 7 hours of runtime, and capable of running 3 operating systems, including the native webOS, a version of Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich, and Ubuntu Linux, the HP TouchPad is a versatile device. Our final webOS device to look at today is the HP Pre 3 smartphone, which was released in the UK one day prior to HP discontinuing the entire webOS line of hardware in August 2011. This particular unit is the HP Pre 3, which, although never being released officially, was manufactured for AT&T and made available through the HP Employee Store and thence to eBay. Having the touch-to-share feature in common with the HP TouchPad, 16 gigabytes of storage at the top end, and 4G speeds, the Pre 3 was the most advanced webOS phone ever made. Again, containing a physical keyboard and a removable battery, this phone appealed to webOS developers and fans alike, with a especially large set of benefits for road warriors, with their need for connected and light-traveling companions. The HP Palm Pre 3, despite being an advanced webOS phone, was hampered by the tentative support provided to the HP developer community by Hewlett-Packard, as well as the abrupt cancellation of the entire webOS line. As you can see, it still supports several things, including YouTube, in addition to standard webOS browsing, web browsing through webOS, and additional functionality.
These devices, having been discontinued back in 2011, are not available in retail stores. However, from time to time, they may be found on eBay. The Palm Pre 2 may be a good fit for your life if you are interested in a device which runs a unique operating system and has a physical keyboard. The HP TouchPad may be a good fit for you if you are interested in an inexpensive tablet that can run HP's most recent webOS with some included unique features, such as wireless charging and card-based multitasking, in addition to running Android and Ubuntu Linux operating systems. While the HP Pre 3, being the most advanced webOS phone ever made, might be a good fit for your lifestyle if you prefer a smaller device with a physical keyboard, whose hardware specs still rival most mid-range phones in early 2015. Obviously, the lack of popular apps can be a deterrent to some users, but if your lifestyle is more closely tied to email, calendaring, contacts, light web browsing, and note-taking, in other words, light productivity use, these devices may still be appropriate for your lifestyle. Please note that intensive games and multimedia applications designed for 2015 hardware will likely not be available for these devices, nor, even if they were to be available, would they be able to function with acceptable performance. In addition, the HP App Catalog, where apps were purchased and downloaded, is now no longer available without the installation of a special certificate upgrade prior to about a year ago. Finally, the HP App Catalog will no longer be available in its entirety very shortly. As such, apps may no longer be downloaded and installed on devices beyond those which shipped with these devices, thus restricting users to email, web browsing, calendar, contacts, and YouTube, along with a beta Amazon Kindle app on the touchpad. We hope you enjoyed this blast from the past, a review of HP webOS devices. Thank you very much for your time and have a wise day.